What's going on, guys? Your boy Amazing. We're back with another video, and in today's video, guys, me doing the Skoll Hati complete guide here to explain to you guys how to clear floors 1, 2, and 3 of Skoll Hati. So let's hop into the video. Alright, guys, so I'm making this video about a few, it's been a day and a half now since Thonar's release. And I wanted to do this video to kind of give you guys an idea of, how you're able to beat Skoll Hati with the new Thonar, man. A lot of people, from the looks of it, have been like, oh, Skoll Hati's still hard. I don't really like the new Thonar. I feel like there's gonna be a new unit. You know what I mean? And there's been a lot of talk about Thonar and about how good she is or how bad she is. And I think she's really, really good for Skoll Hati. And I'm gonna show you guys in this video how you actually are able to beat all 3 floors. But we're gonna talk about the kit, the gear, all of that stuff, man. And then we're also gonna talk about team comps, best buffs, all that stuff in this video, man. So I'll probably have timestamps as well, so if you guys want to see like the best buffs or if you want to see the best teams, yeah, you'll be able to check it out. So let's hop in and let's talk about it. First things first, let's talk about the team that I'm using right now for the video. So this is the team that I actually use here, and this is the setup as well. So you guys can see here we have Freyr, Green Elizabeth, Trader Meliodas, and thing here. So if you go to gear, you guys can see crew resistance gear in the middle, and you guys can see that this is actually an RP side UR to SR actually, which is not necessary, but you can do it if you do want, right? I have this was an SSR piece, but you guys can see I go for about 20% crew resistance. The reason why you guys go for crew resistance, by the way, on this fight is because you don't want to be crit at all. You do not want to be crit. Every time you take crit in this fight, it does a lot of damage. Trader Meliodas is an exception. He does not need crit resistance because he gets all stats up from his passive. So because he's getting the all stats up, he's going to increase his crit resistance himself. So he doesn't necessarily need it. And then Thonar here actually did give double crit resistance, SSR pieces UR'd, because I feel like she definitely needs to stay alive the most compared to the rest of the team. And in terms of outfits and stuff on my Thonar, I did pick up the weapon, and I do have this one as well, but the rest were free to play. Right, the rest were free to play. But yeah, that's Thonar. My Thonar is 2-6. But yes, let's talk about the frequently asked questions. You know what I mean? Let's talk about the frequently asked questions. A lot of people say, do you need dupes on Freyr? Not now, not now. Because we have Thonar, you do not need dupes on Freyr. You can have 1-6 Freyr and still beat this, right? You just need to know how to go about the fight, right? So Elizabeth here. Do you need this Elizabeth 6/6? You do not need the Elizabeth 6/6, but having her high duped will help for the heal. I do also recommend getting a king link up if you guys have a fat king. I think the best fat king link actually is the red one, but the one that I built was the green one because that was the only one I had 6/6. But yes, you do want to build fat king if you can as link, just so Elizabeth gets big HP, because if you guys don't know, king is an HP link. So if I go to okay, go to king here, you can see he gets 1,400 extra HP for Elizabeth, which is going to be very nice. Trader Meliodas here, we are running the Sariel link. Attack, I probably should put the defense middle pieces for Sariel, but you don't necessarily need it. Just give him your attack crit set, and then give Trader Meli your attack crit set as well. But yeah, and then Thonar here, we just have Zeldris link, nothing too crazy. You want to make sure that your Tarmiel link, by the way, goes on your lowest HP character on the team. And as you guys can see, my Freyr is the lowest, so I do give him the Tarmiel link. And I don't know if this is true or not, but people have been saying that the farthest left character is the one that always gets attacked when everyone's at full HP as well. I don't know if that's true. I could be wrong about that. But take that with a grain of salt. Like, you could just put your lowest HP character on the far left. That's why I always have Freyr on the far left, just in case. But yeah, that is another thing to take note. Next thing to talk about as well is going to be the artifact card set. This is a must if you guys are attempting floor 3. You don't need it necessarily, but this is going to make or break a lot of your runs. And if you have this Skoll Hati Demonic Beast Battle card set, it's gonna make your life a lot easier. So in Demonic Beast Battle, increase allies basic stats by 8%. This goes up to 10%. I do not have it at level 5. And when the ultimate move gauge has 5 orbs or more, removes and becomes immune to freeze. So literally your immune to freeze, which is one of the main like problems that people had with Skoll Hati, is that a lot of the RNG came from being frozen. So now that you're not able to be frozen, you know, it's going to be very nice, and you're not going to be able to really have too much of an issue. So yeah, this is the team that I think is the best team at the moment, and the reason I think is the best team is because you have consistent healing, you have cleanse with Elizabeth, consistent healing, buff removal as well. You have Trader Melly giving you the damage reduction, and he does a lot of damage on the amplify. Freyr is going to give you the ignite immunity, and he's also going to give you the all stats up every 2 turns, and then Thonar you use a must have on the team. Alright, so that's the team rundown and my explanation for the team. Let's actually talk about the best buffs now. So let me pull it up real quick. Alright, so I pulled up my wolf buff guide here. So as you guys can see, this is my buff guide. It is a little bit update, but it has been you know, updated before Thonar release, so bear that in mind. I'm gonna talk about it though. I'm gonna explain every single passive and why they're good or why they're bad. So first passive here, floor 1 phase 3, crit damage increase. Increases the hero's crit damage by 10% for each orb removed from the hero's ultimate move gauge. Limit 10 times. Excludes depletion from ultimate move use. So this one is the best passive from floor 1 phase 3. And the reason why is because if you run crit resistance rolls, this is going to be really good. He's never going to be able to crit you anyway, right? That's why this one is so good. This crit resistance, crit defense one lower, decreases all enemies crit resistance and crit defense by 25% is really bad, because that means that when you're running crit resistance gear, if they lower you by 25%, they might be able to crit you, and if they're able to crit you, that they're gonna do a lot of damage. The dogs like are not anything to scoff at in terms of damage. If you get crit on the boss, you're gonna take a lot more damage than normal, and that's why I recommend on the gear sets, you know, crit resistance rolls and having the 2-piece crit resistance. So, and if we look at the bottom one here, defense related stat decrease. When an enemy takes critical strike from the hero's attack, an effect is applied on the enemy which decreases defense related stats by 40% for 2 turns. So you guys might be saying, amazing, why is this one a poop reset one if you're not going to be crit anyway? That is true. As you guys can see here on the notes, it says the defense related stat decrease buff can be SSR if you run crit resistance gear, but then the critical strike occurrence passive becomes poop. So the one on floor 3, this one will become bad because the boss will guaranteed crit the lowest character on the field there. It doesn't mean it's a reset, you know, you can still keep the run going, but with this passive and this passive combined, it's going to be very, very rough going into the final phase of floor 3 with that for sure, because you're going to be getting the defense related down, and then he's probably just going to like 2-shot your character. So moving on to floor 2 buffs. The first one right here deals 40% additional damage when the heroes attacks an enemy with a lower attack. So I think this one actually isn't poop anymore. I think this one actually is good, because Thonar should be increasing your attack for the team higher than the boss. So you're more likely than not gonna be higher than the Skoll Hati beast in terms of your attack stats. So I think this one actually is SR now. It's not poop. So you can basically get this one and be okay. And then this one right here, the debuff resonance, increases the hero's attack by 5% for every debuff applied on all enemies. So this one is okay. You know, you're not going to be getting too many debuffs on Skoll Hati unless you're running like Scotty. If you're running like Scotty, this can be very rough. Because you know, if you get this one, then it's gonna be like a million debuffs, and they're gonna kind of cuck you with that. But if you're running like Freyr or Melassa, I think this one's really good. So it's an SR buff. And then weakness identification. So this one right here increases the hero's damage dealt by 20% when attacking debuffed enemies. This one is just outright 20% damage dealt, and that's it. There's no extra gimmicks, there's no nothing. That's why this passive is the best passive on floor 2, because there's no extra damage than debuff resonance, right? Because debuff resonance automatically means that if everyone on my team has one debuff already, he's gonna have 20% attack already, basically the same as the 20% damage dealt. So when debuff resonance is applying, it's going to be doing a little bit more than the weakness identification. So I think this one is the best passive that you have in terms of options on floor 2. This one can also be very good. I'll have to do more testing, but I think this one will only be good if Thonar can guarantee your attack is higher than Skoll Hati. So moving on to floor 3 passives right here. At the start of the ally's turn here, decreases the attack of the enemy with the highest remaining HP by 30% and applies taunt. So this one right here, not the craziest passive in the world. I don't think it's poop anymore. You definitely can beat Skoll Hati with this passive. But, you know, it's not anything too crazy, right? This one definitely kind of cucks you because most of the time this is going to apply on Trader Melee because he's going to have all the all stats ups. And when it applies on him, they'll just buff remove him and then he'll not be able to do any damage, which kind of sucks. And that's where you're going to need a lot of damage coming from your Freyr and your Thonar. But then we move to this passive right here. So the damage taken increase passive. So at the start of the ally's turn, increases enemy's damage taken by 10%, excludes the enemy with the highest remaining HP. So basically everyone takes 10% more damage, but the highest remaining HP person on your team won't need to take extra damage. So it's really good. This one's the best passive easily. If you get this passive, you know, your team in general will take a little bit more damage, but you know, Trader Melee is already giving you 40% damage reduction, so you basically just take 2 damage reduction stacks away from Trader Melee's kit, and that's basically what this passive is doing. And then as we talked about earlier, the floor 3 phase 3 critical strike occurrence one means that he guaranteed you know, crits the character with the lowest percentage of HP remaining. So attacking the enemy with the lowest percentage of HP results in a critical strike. That's why this passive right here would be really bad with this one, because you would get the defense related down by 40%, and then at that point you would just die, right? So that's the passive rundown. Obviously this is not like completely up to date. I made this before Thonar release, but it gives you guys an idea, and I kind of give you a rundown of all the passives and which ones are good, which ones are bad. Alright, so I want to give a shout out to Antoo Gaming here. This is the post he actually made here talking about the best units for Skoll Hati floor 3 with the new Thonar, and this is going to be the team overview rundown here. So in my opinion, the team that I'm going to be showcasing to you guys in this video, which is already a long video by the way, I have timestamps, you guys will be okay. But yeah, this is the team right here, the top team that I recommend. This is the team because you have consistent healing on the team. You guys can see there's a lot of Scotty teams here. I want to preface this right now. Every Scotty team you guys see that is being used on Skoll Hati, you need to have Scotty's Holy Relic. So these are not teams that you guys should be using if you want to attempt this. Because the problem with Scotty is that when you're in Skoll Hati and you're trying to, you know, get a ton of debuffs on Scotty, they only start applying on floor 2. If you can survive your Scotty at floor 1, you're okay. But a lot of the damage on floor 1 will be targeted towards Scotty because, you know, she's gonna be taking a lot of the damage in general. I mean, Thonar should be taking the damage because she'll have lower HP if you're running HP on HP defense on Scotty. But from my experience, I've had a really rough time running Scotty on the team and without her Holy Relic. I think her Holy Relic is a must if you are going to be running a Scotty team, and that's where I think that this team still is the best team, even though it has Freyr, because you're able to clear in general and you don't have to worry about, you know, Ignite and all that stuff. Whereas with Scotty, you definitely need the card set because you can't beat it unless you have the card set, and you need the Holy Relic. So that's a lot of requirement from the Scotty team compared to, you know, like a Freyr or Melasla team. So yeah, so these two teams I'd recommend here. The one that Merly used right here, the King, Bon, Freyr, Thonar team, and then the top team right here. Those are the best, most free-to-play friendly teams, I guess you could say. They're not free-to-play friendly at all, but they're the best ones you can run, right? So that's kind of what I wanted to explain there. Alright guys, so now that we went over basically everything to know about Skoll Hati, the passives, the best teams, the team comp I'm using, let's actually hop in and show you guys the full run now, the floors 1, 2, and 3. So I have the video recorded here. You guys can see this is the Skoll Hati run with Thonar. And it's 23 minutes long total. I did edit out the times where I had to either, you know, reset, close my game. Yeah, it's basically completely ready for you guys to see. So yeah, so when you guys see here, we do have the equipment info. So this is the exact gear that I showed you guys, and then this is also the card set as well. So we're gonna hop in here and I'm gonna show you guys how to go about the fight, man. Yeah, so we skip here and we're loading in. Skoll Hati, man, is one of these fights where it's like, it easily is the hardest fight in Grand Cross at the moment. But if you have the characters available, like let's say you guys had, like, just pause right now, let's say you had Thonar 1 out of 6 and the rest of these characters 1 out of 6, I think you could still beat it, but you need to have you know, a really strong gear and card set. you need to have really strong gear and card set. A lot of RNG is going to come into play as well. But yeah, as you guys can see, so the turn 1 here, we do the single target there with Donar, the 220 attack one, the one that has the stance removal. I'm actually going to hold on to the Freyr stance removal, and the reason why we hold on to his is because we can top deck merge it by leaving it as the far left card. Because you know, if this accidentally just top deck merges, then we get a stance removal. So we actually did not get a stance removal. We got one of these cards, which would have been nice if we held on to that other one, but it's okay. Right, so you guys can see that my Freyr is the one being targeted, and that's why you want to run the Tarmiel Link on your Freyr, and it does not have to be red Tarmiel Link, it can be blue Tarmiel Link, as you guys saw on my setup that I actually was running blue Tarmiel Link. But basically, if you guys don't know how Thonar works, every time you use 3 card skills that land on the boss, they have to land. You cannot patience. If you patience, you do not get the buff, so you have to make sure that you land the attack. When you land the attacks, what happens is you get an attack related 40% stat increase buff, and you also get 30% damage dealt for your single target skills, which it doesn't show that you get it, but it does. So yeah, so right here we did the rank 2 Freyr. I'm like, okay, we can get ultimate on Freyr, we can get ultimate on Thonar, and we're gonna move into the final phase here, and that's where we're gonna be able to basically kill. You guys can see we're hitting damage cap on rank 2 cards here because the attack related increase is very nice. And I think that's gonna be very clutch in the later half of this fight when we're able to fight the Skoll Hati themselves. So yeah, so you guys can see here, it does the AoE, that's recovery seal. It doesn't bother me too much because I'm like, okay, we can definitely kill here and move into the next phase, and with that we'll be able to do a Liz heal anyway, and we'll be able to heal back up. So I think we'll be okay. So what we do, I was kind of like thinking off the top of my head, like, how do I go about this? And then I also checked to see like how long the infect is, but it's only 1 turn. So I was like, okay, we can definitely just go for the kill then, right? So I was gonna do that, and then we do the Thonar ult, and then we rip that as well. So we're gonna hold on to the Meliodas and the Freyr ultimate so that they do not get frozen. That's something that you want to do as well when you're going into the final phase, because you can be frozen on final phase if the Dark Dog wants to do it to you. You know what I mean? If he wants to freeze you, he can freeze you. And you guys can see here that if we pause and we look at the buff effects, that buff effect right there. Let me go back a little bit. That is the crit resistance, crit defense down. That's the worst passive, by the way. So we're gonna keep going. You guys will see that even with that passive, we're still able to beat the full floors 1, 2, and 3. But I just wanted to show you guys at the earlier part that passive is bad, because you'll see here that I'm running full crit resistance gear, and you guys will see that I still get crit even with full crit resistance gear. So yeah, so I was like, okay, let me push Elizabeth ultimate. Let me drop the ultimate with Trader Melly there, and I think we'll be okay if we do it. We could just drop Freyr ultimate as well. Because we can cycle through an ultimate again with Elizabeth. So I was like, I think that'll be okay. So we drop Trader Melly all, boom, damage cap. Even if you guys have 1 out of 6 Trader Melly, by the way, you should hit damage cap. Because you're not meant to do more than like 200k on the Dark Wolf, and you're not able to do more than 157k on the White Wolf. So yeah, that's definitely something important to take note. But yes, our Freyr is taking a lot of hits, but it's gonna be okay. You guys can see that if you want to get Thonar passive back as well, it reapplies the stack. So you guys can see my Freyr doesn't have it. I actually do one of these phases. I think I do check my Thonar and see like when I do get the attack related up. But you guys will see that when I do attack into the dogs here, you'll see when we do enough single target skills, or not even single target, just skills in general, we will get it. So I think right after this skill with Trader Melly here, we do get the attack related increase. So Freyr does have that attack related increase again, and now we're able to do the big damage we were able to do before. So yeah, so this is a pretty good position. If you guys don't know what I'm trying to do on this final phase, by the way, you have to kill both the dogs on the same turn on the final phase, because if you do not kill them together, then one of them is gonna full heal and you're not gonna be able to kill them from then. You want to make sure that you kill them within the same turn, or even together, if possible, because that's when they're going to be very vulnerable. This is the only phase where you want to do that, by the way. Floor 2 and floor 3 is going to be a different situation, but for floor 1, you want to make sure you're able to kill both dogs together. So you guys can see here that I was kind of contemplating what I do, and you'll see like what happens here when we do a little bit too much damage. Because you'll see here. So I do actually follow up with Freyr there, and I attack into that dog, and I was like, okay, maybe Trader Melly can get the kill. And you guys can see I do pause my game and I reset my game. Right, so I completely reset my game. And I was like, okay, let's hop back in. If you guys don't know, by the way, if you're mid-turn like that, you can close your application, reload the application, and it'll reset your turn. That's how I was able to reset my turn here. And with the exact same hand, exact same buffs, exact same everything. So you guys can see we do the buff removal, we do single target into the Dark Wolf, and then I'm like, okay, let me follow up with double Freyr here, and I think we'll be able to kill the White Wolf as well. But yeah, I was kind of contemplating how I go about it. But I think this was the play actually as well. But yeah, so we're not like full health going into floor 2, but you don't really necessarily need to worry about your health too much going into floor 2, because when you clear floor 2, you will be able to cycle ult on Elizabeth, and you'll be able to heal enough on floor 2 phase 3 to go into to floor 3 with a lot of healing. So that is going to be the floor 1 of the Skoll Hati. Alright, so moving into floor 2 now, guys. We are gonna have the exact same health. If you guys don't know, demonic beasts do keep your health and they carries over, but that's gonna be okay because we're gonna be able to heal it back up with Elizabeth, as you guys will see when we get to the final phase of floor 2. So starting the turn, we do the exact same hand because I want to make sure that I do get the attack up, and this actually was a mistake because you guys will see here that Elizabeth actually patience the boss, and this will show you guys that you know, if you are trying to do this, you won't actually get the Thonar attack related increase unless you hit 3 skills. You have to hit the 3 skills. So you see Meliodas didn't get it till he hits this pierce. Now we actually get the attack related up. So that is a mistake. You want to make sure you're able to get that as soon as possible. Alright, so that's fine. And the Dark Wolf starts to give the White Wolf the damage reduction there. But we're going to be okay. And you guys can see that Thonar is taking a lot of the hits. The reason why Thonar is taking the hits is because she's the lowest HP ratio, even though you know what I mean, Freyr is technically the lowest max HP. The boss is actually going to target Thonar because Thonar is the lowest remaining HP. So as you can see here, we do the heal skill, we do the single target there, and yeah, I'm basically just trying to do you know, as much chip damage as I can, kind of trying to clear out my hand as well. And yeah, you guys can see there. We want to make sure that Thonar doesn't die as well, so I had to use that rank 1 heal. But yeah, we got the Elizabeth heal now, so with the ultimate we'll be able to heal her full back to full, and then the boss will only target Freyr, right? So there we go. So now we have the cancel stance as well because we did merge that. So I used the cancel stance, we used the heal ultimate with Elizabeth, and then I follow up with a gauge reduction there with Thonar. Not that it was necessarily needed, but we were able to follow up with it, right? But yeah, now she's full health. The Wolf will go back to targeting Freyr now because every character on the team is full health. And you guys will be able to see that on the phase 3, we will be able to re-heal the team back up, which is the nice thing about Elizabeth is that you have the heal card and you have the heal ultimate. Oh wow, so you actually did target Thonar there. I'm actually wondering why he went for the target on Thonar, because usually he would target the Freyr. Maybe because Freyr has more all stats up. Maybe because Freyr has more all stats up actually because of the Blessing of Light. Yeah, that's fine though. Regardless, it doesn't necessarily matter. You can have, you know, your Tarmiel link on your Thonar if your Thonar is less HP than your Freyr. Most of the time, you know, it honestly depends on the person. But for me, my Freyr had more HP, but I guess because of his Blessing of Light buff that he had, he actually at the time had more HP, and the boss decided to attack the Thonar there. But it's okay. Because as you guys can see, the boss is only doing a ultimate there, so I was like, okay, we can definitely take the gauge. Do the gauge reduction, right? That's free. We get the ultimate on Elizabeth. We heal up everybody. And then following this, we'll be able to move into the final phase there. Or at least the second phase first. So let's see here. If we get the Elizabeth ultimate, I finally got another Meliodas card because I was kind of banking on when I was going to get that. And I wasn't actually top decking it. But yeah, so we see that we do have another cancel stance. Luckily, we did hold on to that. You guys can see here that the boss is ulting us, so I was like, okay, what am I gonna go about doing this? I think the Freyr ult and the Thonar ult was actually able to kill here, and I wanted to go into second phase, making sure that my Trader Melee had max gauge so that he does not get frozen, because that's gonna be one of the most important things when you're going into floor 2 and floor 3, is to make sure that your Trader Melee is not gonna be frozen. Having maximum ultimate move gauge means he cannot be frozen no matter what. So make sure you keep him at max ultimate move gauge. If you feel like you can get the kill on the boss though, you can rip the ultimate. But you know, you want to try not to rip the ultimate. Unless you know you can guarantee the kill here. Unfortunately here, I think I just go for it even though I wasn't able to get the kill. And this is what cost me. You guys will see, I think Trader Melly does get frozen here. But yeah, you guys will see. If he doesn't get frozen, it's because I guess the wolf doesn't attack into him. Yeah, so floor 2, if you guys don't know, floor 2, you're not instantly auto frozen. You just have a chance of getting targeted with the freeze. And I guess I didn't get targeted with the freeze. Maybe I'm mistaking floor 3 with this. Yeah, I'm definitely okay. I'm mistaking floor 3. So you don't get auto frozen on floor 2, but on floor 3 you do get auto frozen. So that's something you have to worry about, right? But always just keep the mindset of like, oh, you know, I have to make sure I have maximum ultimate move gauge. That's what's gonna make sure that I don't get frozen. And if you get frozen, you're gonna lose all your buffs, which is gonna be very, very annoying. So Trader Melly does the single target there, and we follow up with the AoE. We move into the final phase, and we have almost an ultimate on everybody there, right? We have an ultimate on Elizabeth, we have an ultimate on Thonar, and we do get one of the other passes that could have been really bad as well. That's the hand passes, so that means 40%. And as you guys can see, that is where, you know, the card set comes in clutch, right? Being auto frozen like that when you don't have maximum ultimate move gauge can cuck you. And as you guys could see there, my Trader Melly did not have maximum ultimate move gauge, lost all his buffs. So this is where I was like, okay, this is definitely a situation where I could still lose. But because I had Freyr 6 out of 6 and I had Thonar ultimate, I was able to go past this stage fairly, you know, safely. So you guys will see here, we go for that. I think I actually do reset. I was trying to do a different skill hand here. I was like, maybe I should do the cleanse first so I don't get the attack related down, but it was only Thonar that had attack related down, so I wasn't like necessarily too worried. But yeah, we do just go for it. We do follow up with the Liz heal anyway, because I wanted to make sure that Thonar does the most amount of damage anyway. So boom, and then we drop the ultimate there. Trader Melly gets the ultimate, and Freyr gets the ultimate as well. So you guys will see here that I actually do check, and you guys saw, if we go back a little bit, you guys will see, watch Trader Melly. So right there, it's going to say active unique immunity. So that means that the wolf targeted Trader Melly again for the freeze, right? So that's, you know, something to take into account, man. Always try and get your ultimate on your characters with the card set so that you're not able to be frozen. And Freyr there, unfortunately, got his ultimate taken, so that was really bad for me. And it looks like it was a kind of a bad situation, but we were able to move past this situation. You guys will see, I checked the Thonar passive. You guys can see it's at 2. So when it says it's at 2, I gotta go back a little bit, right? So it says it's at 2. That means that one more skill, everyone on the team will get the 40% attack related up again. So that means I was like, okay, we can do just a normal skill with like Thonar, let's say, and then we can follow up with the Freyr, the Melly, and then just go crazy and see if we can get the kill. So I was like, okay, this is not gonna work. I might as well follow up with the triple Melly. So I reset, and I was like, okay, let's do the Freyr single target. Or not even Freyr single target. I think I just do single target with Thonar. Let's see. How do I go about it? Oh no, so I think I do this. Okay. Yeah, so I do single target Thonar, and then I just follow up with all my Melly cards there, because he's gonna get the 40% attack related, and I know we're gonna do a lot of damage. We hit almost damage cap, if I'm not mistaken. It had to be very close there, but we do that, and then we follow up with the AoE, and we're able to kill the Dark Wolf on that turn. So if you guys don't know as well, another thing to note, on floor 2 phase 3, the Dark Wolf and the Light Wolf, after taking 6 hits from a skill, if they take 6 hits of damage, no matter how much damage they take, as long as they're taking 6 hits, they will get a resurrection buff. You guys will see here that I do apply the resurrection buff on this wolf. You will see, you know, following this turn. So I was like, okay, let me push Elizabeth ultimate to get the heal, right? We do the buff removal, and we do single target Melly to do big damage there. And you'll see, I think the following turn I proc the resurrection. And when you proc resurrection, you have to kill him and then proc the revive and then kill him again. You don't have to do it in the same turn or anything like that, but he is gonna have a revive. So that's just something to take into account, right? Definitely something to take into account. So I do the heal, and I was like, okay, if we can kill before the resurrection, then we'll be okay. But I think I do proc it right here, if I'm not mistaken, right? Yeah, so as you can see, the boss got resurrection. So now when I attack with Freyr, we proc the revive, and he actually does heal up. I think it's about give or take like 25% HP, right? Nothing too crazy, but 25% HP is a big chunk. So now when he does this final hit on me, I was like, okay, I can freely go for the heal there with Elizabeth and then just ult with Trader Melly and we win the fight. Even Thonar ultimate at that point would kill, so it's not like because I had 6-6 Trader Melly I was able to kill. Like you can basically just kill at that point with any ultimate move skill that you have in your hand. But yeah, I was able to get the ultimate off and we do finish off the wolf with full health on everybody on the team. Moving into the final floor. So now we're on floor 3 here, guys. And with floor 3 is going to be where it's going to be very, very annoying, man. A lot of the things in floor 3 are going to cuck you, like the auto freeze, you know, just being more tanky in general, the boss. It's going to be very annoying. But so that's why, you know, right here is you're definitely going to want to make sure that you get the attack related buff. So that's why you guys can see my card setup there that I actually did was a little bit different. I did the Freyr cleave card. I did the single target with Thonar there, and then I did the Meliodas AoE so that I got the attack related on my amplify skill, so we're able to do a little bit more damage there. And I think that was a little bit some strategic mindset right there. But yeah, and then he does single target onto the Freyr there, goes for the AoE, and as you guys can see, my Trader Melly is actually getting crit because of the crit resistant crit defense down. And because of that passive, it's really starting on floor 3, you'll feel that it starts to cuck you a little bit more so than floor 2 and floor 1, even with crit resistance gear, right? You're really gonna feel it on these floors where they're gonna start to crit you a lot more, and that could be a detriment for sure. That's why I recommend like getting the crit damage buff from floor 1 will be a lot better. And then obviously getting the damage, I think it's the 20% damage taken when you have a debuff. That one on floor 2 is going to be better than the 40% attack one as well. So, you know, there's a lot of things to take into account on the wolves. But if you do want to have a smoother run than I am, then for sure go for passes. But this team doesn't necessarily need it because you guys saw that I got both the worst passes possible on floor 1 and floor 2, and we're still able to do fairly well, right? So we do the single target there, and then we got him a little bit low, and we have ultimate on Freyr and Meliodas there. Unfortunately, we are lacking a lot of damage here with our cards. You guys can see my card, my hand right now, not anything too crazy. And you guys can see right there, that is why that passive is so bad. You see how much damage my Thonar just took when she took a crit? Like, look how much damage that was, bro. 187k damage. Like, that's just way too much. That's why the crit resistance crit defense passive, really bad passive, man. You don't want to have that passive. That almost cucked me the run, right? That almost did cuck me the run. And we took a lot of damage just from Thonar being targeted like that. But we were okay, you know, following that. We do have gauge reduction, so I was like, okay, let me make sure I take the gauge of the boss there, and he's not attacking me following up anyway. So I was like, yeah, we might as well go for it. We'll do that. And then I think I follow up with another single target as well. I don't think I rip an ultimate or anything like that. Do I? Oh wow, I rip Feral. Okay. That's fine. Yeah, so you go for the gauge reduction. Make sure you do a rank 2, because if you did a rank 1 there, you probably would have patience. Yeah, and then we do the Freyr ultimate. Boom. We hit damage cap. Boom. Oh, we actually didn't kill her. That's why I went for it. Okay, so I was like, okay, I saw the HP and I was like, I'm not gonna get the kill. So that was actually really smart of me. Okay. There we are. So the boss just buffs up, puts up a stance. We have a stance removal actually with Thonar, so I was like, okay, maybe I can reset, use that instead of using the ultimate with Trader Melly, and we can actually hold on to that. So I was like, okay, let me rip that. Let's do the weak point right there, and then we'll do the Phil ultimate move gauge. Even though Trader Melly has ultimate already, we are going to do the Phil ultimate move gauge there. And you guys will see here, because of Thonar's passive giving herself 200% ultimate move damage, the weak point, even at 2 out of 6, is still able to do damage cap on the Skoll Hati there. So yeah, so we're moving into phase 2 of floor 3 here. So Elizabeth gets auto frozen. My Meliodas is ult sealed. A little bit annoying, but I already have ultimate, so I wasn't too worried, right? I wasn't too worried. Since I already have ultimate, I could not be frozen with Trader Melly anyway. But you know, a lot of the things you're gonna have to do, guys, in Skoll Hati is take risks, man. You're gonna have to take risks. Like right here, you get auto frozen every single turn, and I took the risk. I was like, okay, if Melly gets frozen, I think I'll be okay because I'm pushing close to a Freyr ultimate. I'm not too worried, right? So we dropped the Meliodas ult there, and Elizabeth gets refrozen again. So we did get a little bit lucky there. And I did get some good card RNG with Freyr there too, in terms of getting the double cleave there, is very nice. because the cleave is gonna do a lot of damage, and the wolf actually did go for the freeze on my Trader Belly there. So having the ultimate there, I wouldn't have got frozen, right? So if I held on to that, you know, it could have been a different of a turn. You know what I mean? And it was this phase already was looking like kind of an L of a run, right? You guys can see from now, it's like, you know, amazing. How are you gonna pull this back, right? But we actually do pull this back, and going into the final phase with the Freyr ultimate, I think did make or break this run, because I do actually go into the final phase with the ultimate. There we are. So he has about 10% HP left. And you guys can see it said immunity there, because the boss was actually trying to freeze Freyr there, because he did have the ultimate. But the Skoll Hati card set there saved me from getting frozen, which is very nice. We do have a cancel stance here, which was really good. So because I had the cancel stance, and because you know, I was getting the attack related up again, I was like, okay, I think we'll be fine if we follow up with these skills. We'll be able to get the kill fairly easily with these skills. And I think the cleave card with Freyr actually does get the kill. And I was contemplating just resetting as well, I think, to make sure I get the attack related up, right? Because I think Freyr does just kill here, right? Oh no, never mind. It was actually perfect. Never mind. It was perfect there. And then Meliodas AoE does get the kill. So we move into the final phase here. We get the best passive for that phase though. So to be fair, we do get the best passive there, but we have the worst passives from the earlier phases. And you guys can see Meliodas does get frozen again. So that's what it basically comes down to, man. You get you know, bad RNG. It is what it is. You know, there's not much that can be done. But you see, when the moment we move cards to the Trader Melly there, you guys can see we got the immunity. I was like, okay, that's definitely the way to go about it. And I was at 0 on the ultimate in terms of the, or a 0 on the passive in terms of getting the you know, the attack related up. But I was like, okay, Trader Melly definitely needs it for the following turn when he gets his ultimate and is going to be attacking with the attack related buff from Thonar. So right here, I was like, okay, let's double ult into Dark Wolf. You want to make sure you kill Dark Wolf, by the way, before White Wolf, because the Dark Wolf is the one that's auto freezing you. So if you can kill Dark Wolf first, then you can basically just like spam heals till you beat the White Wolf, right? So yeah, so he targets into Thonar there. Goes for the AoE attack right there. No crit right there, which is luckily for us. You guys can see he's starting to crit Trader Melly there, which is a little bit scary. Goes for the gauge reduction there on Freyr, but at this point in the fight, we are okay, and we are able to actually get the kill on the Dark Wolf here. So we do actually go for the single target. I go for the Trader Melly ultimate. I go for the Trader Melly AoE first, because I'm like, okay, I think I can kill with the AoE on the dog and then single target into the White Wolf, which actually did work out in my favor. You guys will see here. So we do the single target. The Meliodas ultimate does damage cap. Boom. 383k, and then the AoE does actually finish off the Dark Wolf, so we're able to single target the White Wolf there and actually do a lot of damage. So yeah, man, that's basically it in terms of the Skoll Hati run, guys. I'm coming up on the end here, and at this point it's mainly just stalling for heals, and the boss can't really do anything, right? We do live that hit right there, and because we live that hit, it's an auto guaranteed win. And we do have gauge reduction with Thonar now that she's alive as well, for sure. So even if the boss was to push ultimate, we can just keep you know, doing gauge reduction and making sure that we kill him. So yeah, so that's basically it in terms of the Skoll Hati though. Let me know if you guys enjoyed the video, man. I hope this video was very informative. I tried to make it more of like a guide, you know, more professional guide type video, because I had the you know, like the sections of the video. And hopefully that's a little bit more helpful, but yeah, man, that's basically it though. We do the ultimate here with Elizabeth, everyone goes back to full HP, and then we get the kill, man. From here it's just auto kill, so not too bad though. Yeah, I think Skoll Hati, like, obviously, you know, having dupes on these characters is gonna make the runs a lot easier, guys, but I think having this team in general will mean that you're able to actually beat the fight fairly, you know, or relatively easily compared to before, where no one had Thonar and we didn't have a character that was able to beat this. So yeah, man, that's gonna be it for the video. I hope you guys enjoyed. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe as always. If you guys want to see more videos like this, definitely let me know in the comment section below, and I'm gonna see you guys in the next video. Peace out and have a great rest of your day.